Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna start with a brand new one because I did this stuff earlier and I think it went pretty smoothly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through it one more time and see what you guys think. Now, if you weren't looking at the Facebook posts I was making them, or if you haven't been keeping up, the finance course today is going to be based around how to spread out your finances whenever you're coming to detailing. And I am going to cover all three different levels. I laugh every time I think about it, but the way that I came across this was like how broke people budget their money versus how the rich budget their money. And it's a very interesting concept, but I think you'll understand kind of as we go along because there is there's a lot of benefits that come to it and that come from it as you kind of go through it. So just hope that you guys get to see it. So the very bottom level, right? This is where most people start out. This is where I started out. And more than likely, if you're somebody who just learned how to detail and you're just starting how to doing this is more than likely where you're going to start out and where you'll be at the moment. Right. So we start out by putting your checks. Everybody's wondering, what do you mean with your checks? Like all the money that you get, any detail that you do, anything like that, all the money that comes to your account, that's a check. Okay. That's what we're going to consider a check in this case. So whenever you first start out, all your checks go directly into your personal bank. So this is where everybody starts out. You take all the money that you make, and 100% of it goes towards your personal bank account. Now from there, you're gonna take out all the money. This is where everything is going to come from. I did the right amount. One, two, three, four, five. Yep, that's correct. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes over here to make sure that I'm doing this properly. So yeah, once your checks go into your personal bank account, you're gonna take everything out from there. So it's gonna be your business expenses are gonna come out. You're gonna come out next. You're gonna take out your taxes, of course, which is gonna be about 33% right off the bat of whatever it is that you charge. So if you charge $100, 33% of that plus $66. Good with the percentages. I'm gonna do this straight state. And then, of course, your home expenses. By the way, if anybody wants to get the reference knowledge, I got all this from Tom Ferry. He did this in breakdown for real estate. I've been studying Tom Ferry since I was like 19, 18 actually. Yeah, when I started working in real estate and started working towards my real estate license. But yeah, he's a really good guy. You guys should really check him out if you're interested in sales and you like working commissions. He's a really good person to watch because he does breakdowns that apply to basically every aspect of business. But this is it right here, right? This is how broke people or how, any entry level entrepreneur who hasn't learned about finances yet is going to finance their stuff. They're going to take their money, anything they make, it's going to go directly into their personal bank account. And then from there, they're going to take their taxes out, they're going to take out their business expenses, they're going to pay whatever bills they have to pay at home. They're going to put some money in their savings and they're going to take some money out for fun, but they're not keeping the best track of it just yet. Okay. It's just a very basic level, basic understanding of how to work with finances. I'm going to leave that there and then we're going to move on. Here at the next level, what people are doing is they're going to take those checks and instead of putting it into their personal bank account, they're going to do something different here. They're going to put that money into their business account, right? So it's going to be your LLC, your limited liability corporation. It's going to be completely separate entity, has nothing to do with you, completely disregarded. You have nothing to do with it. That's kind of what you want to look at this business like. It's its own individual out there doing its own thing. You have to, once you set it up, you have to not worry about it. You have to let it do its own thing with its system, let it run, let it kind of do its thing. But from that business bank account, right? And I'm just going to explain it very briefly, and then I'm going to explain how you do it with commissions and why it works this way. How it works for me in detailing and how it worked for me in real estate. Well, I'm going to explain it with real estate because it's kind of how it goes. But whenever you do it like this, I like my lines better. You're going to take out your taxes. You're going to take your business expenses out. And then you're going to take out your money, your personal money, your personal income. So if you made $100, right? Let me write it down right here. If you made $100, this is the point where you're going to take out 33%, which equals $33 for taxes. Then you're going to take 33%, which equals again another $33. And this is just ballpark, it would be $33.33 going up to infinity. That's kind of what the decimal breaks down to. It's pretty ridiculous. But $33 in business expense, it's just a business budget. And $33 or 33% in take home personal income. So what I'm really trying to say is that realistically, you can actually set it up for all your workers to get paid this way. And I say that because that's the way that I want to set it up. I've gone through and I've written down everything that I would like to receive from a company's detailer if I was employed under them. And I think I'm pretty much going to base my entire business diagram around that. Whenever I was working with real estate, we started out with a company of, I don't know say what company, but the company that we started out with, it did commissions differently than the company that we ended up with before I ended up quitting. They did a 70-30 split on the commissions that you got. And if anybody knows anything about real estate commissions, you work at 3%. So 3% for every $100,000 is about 3 grand. So every house that you sell, if it's worth at least 3 grand and you get 3% commission, I mean, if it's worth at least 100 grand, you get 3% commission, you'll make 3 grand, right? So from that money, they would do a 70-30 split. So they would take 30% and then you would keep the other 70, and that's how you got paid your commission. And then you of course still have to pay your taxes and everything outside of there from all of that. So they taught this to us very early on to take your taxes out right off the bat, and then to always put money aside for your business. In real estate, it had to do with marketing, advertising, making sure that you had signs, making sure that you had business cards. And detailing has to do more with chemicals, it has to do with maintenance on the machines and the equipment. It's a different form of maintenance, but you can still spend money on marketing, so you have to take that into accountability as well. The thing is, the company that we ended up with afterwards, they did a flat fee. They charged us a flat fee per transaction. And the reason that they're able to charge, a percentage of the commission or a flat fee is because they have the brokerage title. Basically, if we are, since they have the broker's license and we only have the agent license, we're not allowed to perform real estate unless we're being supervised by a broker. So we're basically paying them to supervise us because if they didn't supervise us, we wouldn't be able to operate. And that's kind of it's not necessarily the environment that I'm trying to create. So I want to make sure that everybody can prosper in their own right. And I'll make sure everybody can go out and just like in real estate, get their own jobs and bring you into the shop. Even in real estate, the commissions changed every once in a while. Some people would charge 4 or 5% for listings. And then our team, we got to a point where we were charging, a couple people got charged like 8%. And that was just because of the way that we provided the offer. We knew what people valued, we knew what people wanted. and we also knew what we were worth. We knew what it meant to be able to work with us, and that's really what I want to help everybody create that watches this course. So that's the reason that I'm really getting down to building it because I know that all the information that I'm providing here has helped me a billion as I've gone through my process, my growth process, and I just want to pass that on. I keep saying, what the hell am I gonna do if I don't pass this knowledge on? So I'm gonna take it to the grave, and then nobody's gonna use it, and I'm just gonna die a grumpy old man. But okay, here's where the broke or the people who live check to check, like I have been living for a while, honestly, and like I continue to live, but it's just because I continue to invest everything in. Is This is what I'm really about to start doing at the current moment. Once you get all the business money, separated, you got your taxes, you got your business, those things are taken care of. You don't have to worry about them anymore. Now you have to look at your personal bank account. These are your personal finances, right? And the rich do a very good job at separating finances for every single thing that they do. They understand that this company is completely individual, has its own bank account, has its own individual thing going on, completely separate from this entity over here, right? And this entity could be you, it could be another company that you own, it could be you know, an acquisitions company, different things. It doesn't matter what you want to call it, but no, that's kind of what it comes down to. Now, this is when you start splitting down all the other, all the rest of the information. And this is, I'll go through this very briefly. I'm going to make sure that I put the right amount of lines on here so I can just go through and write down basically what you want to break into. It's going to be your bills. And I know your guys are like, bills is very general. What do you think about bills? I mean, this is going to be your mortgage or your rent, maybe. Okay, don't move that last. So yeah, this is gonna be like your mortgage or your rent. It's gonna be your electricity, your car notes, your phone bill. This is everything you got to take care of for yourself here at home, right? You got to figure out what numbers you want at home because if you know what you need to be making at home, you can reverse engineer what you need to be doing numbers wise month to month in your business or on your personal finances if you're still doing it like the very first person does, which is how everybody starts out. You don't have to feel bad about how you're doing it, but you do have to start thinking about if you're going to be doing this long term, what you have to start doing to create that expensivity and be able to create that acquisition mentality and that expansion. Okay, so you of course have your bills, then you have any money that you're going to put into your savings account. Everybody's going to have their own budget. Everybody's going to have a different thing. I'm just kind of showing you how you want to spread out the money. Once you get to your business account, which again, right here, it's going to be your LLC. Sure, but LLC, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, once the money hits there, then it's going to spread out into your personal account. You're going to pay yourself whatever you decide to pay yourself. This could also be a flat fee if you want to pay yourself just a management fee for your company. Under your LLC, you can pay yourself a management fee just for taking care of administrative duties. So you can, if you're doing, your chemicals, you're scheduling jobs, you're putting out sales material, you're doing all that stuff in the background, even though you're not be selling anymore, you can just say, okay, this job to me is worth $2,500 every 2 weeks, and you pay yourself $5,000 a month, okay? And then that's just a set foundation. Otherwise, you can pay yourself as a 1099 contractor under your own LLC. And all that does is basically mean that you're going to be paid as any one of your employees would be paid. The money is going to go to the LLC, and then you're going to keep that remaining 30% that the company doesn't get. They're going to pay the taxes with part of it, they're going to pay the expenses and whatever it is that they do towards expansion with the other part of it. And then you're just going to get your cut, and then you're going to take your taxes out of that cut as you would here, right? So personal expenses should also include taxes because you're going to have to take taxes if you're working as an independent contractor. If you employ yourself as an hourly and you just pay yourself as an administrative fee or something like that, like I said, 2,400 in 2 weeks or 5,000 a month, then the taxes are going to get taken out of that. So you're probably going to make like 2,000, like 1,900, something like that, after they take taxes out from the LLC as a 10, as a W-2 employee. But you got all that stuff in here, and then of course you're gonna want to have your fund. There's gonna be another one, and then I ended up adding taxes on there because I didn't put them on my personal notes. But this is another one that's in my notes that haven't put on here yet. It's life insurance, and I don't want everybody to get confused. This is literally just how people set up their money. This is what I'm, like I said, this is what I'm working on setting up at the moment. I've already been going through the process. I have my LLC set up. Right now, I'm setting up a separate business, which is going to be this specifically because the LLC, I want it to be specifically acquisition for different detailing locations and franchising. So once that's set up for myself, that's on that side, I'm going to set up this on a different business, and then I'm going to set up what I'm about to show you here on the third person, on the third level, because there is one more level of protection where the income gets separated further for you. So, like I said, just let me explain the life insurance real quick. The life insurance, the reason that you want to do it is because it's going to be compounded money that you can use interest free. You can literally take loans against the amount of your policy interest free. And I mean, you can't default on them because the money's already in. Once the money's already brought to a certain level, then you can just use it to do other things, okay? And what I mean by other things is if you are still focused on detailing, you can use that and take out a loan to go open a detailing shop or go build a detailing bank, whatever one of those things you can do. And you don't have to pay any interest on those loans because you're essentially borrowing money from yourself, right? That policy already has the money in there. So the bank's just saying, or the life insurance company is just telling you, here, we're gonna let you have this money. You can use it just so you don't take it out of that account and it can just sit there and continue doing its own thing. And you can use this money. And if for any reason it doesn't work out and you can't pay us back, we'll just take it from out of here. But that way that money can continue growing. Because the entire time that the money's in the life insurance policy, it's compounding on itself. And I don't want to explain compounding because I've already gone over a bunch of things. And I feel like I'm making everybody's heads kind of go crazy this time. But I'll show you here in the next one what the next step of business is. Here. I won't be able to stop thinking about compounding. I'll just be able to write it down, right? So say you put $10 in an account. Now this is how compounding works, right? So you put $10 in an account that compounds, and then you put $10 in an account that doesn't compound. I did this wrong. Um, this is $10 in a non-compounding account, right? So say for example, this compounds 10% month over month. So every month you add 10% on this one. And like I said, this one compounds and this one doesn't. So you add 10% on both of them, but one of them compounds and one of them doesn't. The first month, this is going to give you a gain of $1, right? So you'll be at $11 at the end of that month. Now, the second month, the 10% applies to that extra dollar that you got that first month. So on the second month, you're not just adding $1, you're adding $1.1, right? And at this point, you kind of start seeing when on this day you've already made an extra 10 cents on this side, even though you still have the same equation every month adds 10%. but only on your original investment. So not on anything new that it accrues as it's been sitting there, right? So on this one, you had an additional $1 set up at which brought you up to like $11, right? But the second day, you're only making 10% of the original $10 that you put in. You're not making the 10% on that $1 that you made the day before. So at this point, you're making, again, plus $1, which puts you at 12. While over here, you're at 12 and 10 cents. And the next day, you'll be at like 12 and 31 cents, I believe, because you're adding, 10% of $12.10 or $11.12. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically how compounding works. That's the reason that a lot of people go for life insurance. But here, let me show you the final level of this. And this is for anybody who's already at the point where they want to start franchising and they don't know how they're supposed to set up their acquisitions or anything like that. This is more than likely the way that you want to do it, right? So we already discussed how you have the checks coming into that one specific business. Now, let's say, for example, you turn your business into a franchise, right? Let's just say Frank's Detailing LLC. And this became a franchise. And here's where I'm going to start tripping up a little bit because this is part of the process that I haven't done myself yet. I'm currently working on. But basically, this Frank's LLC becomes the acquisition company, or the acquisition holder, right? And that this you have to set it up separately, but this becomes a disregarded entity that doesn't get taxed whenever they put out income because it's just linked. It doesn't do anything but collect money because it just owns all these different properties, right? So once you start franchising, every individual shop that you have, you want to set up under a different LLC to have under a separate type of protection. Not only that, but if you want to franchise and give other people the opportunity to come in, then you want to give them the opportunity to handle that specific shop without having to be involved with the bigger picture, right? So here's where you start having your shops. So let's say it's shop one, then over here you have shop two, and then over here shop three. And now you're like, holy shit, right? I'm sorry for my language, but man, excuse my French. This goes back to this over here. So now at this point, the personal business account that we were talking about here, this right here that we were discussing before, that is what this becomes, right? So basically, instead of the money that would go into your personal account, I don't know what I put personal business. Right. So the thing that would go into your personal account instead is going to go into this holding company. And that's what it's going to call it. This is going to be your holding company. It's going to have everything here. Now, of course, you still want to have to set it up the same way that you had everything back here. So you still got to take your money out for your taxes and your money out for expenses out of every single one. Is this making sense now, though? Like everything that you're getting at this point right here is just pure profit once you've already taken care of your expenses. That's why commissions work so well if you know how to manage them properly. If you know how to put your money aside for, all the little things that you're gonna have to spend on commissions work out really, really well because you can determine how much you need to earn And since you can control how much you earn, then you just figure out how much work you need to go do on a day-to-day basis, on a month-to-month basis, and you get that done, and you can be satisfied. You know, you can be happy with your life. And if you want to do more work, you want to grow, you want to expand your own business, that's something you can also do as long as you get a grip on sales. And that's, something that I'm very passionate about that I want to help people do because I feel like it's a life skill that everybody should know about. Whenever I started learning, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Like, this is a whole new world. And then the more I've grown, or as I've grown older, I've realized that not everybody has that skill. And it's just such an invaluable thing to be able to understand how to influence the direction that you want things to go. Because that's really what sales is. It's just, being able to understand what a goal is and how to get to that goal. It's not necessarily making people do things that they don't want to do. No, no, no. It's more of like understanding what you need to give people to get them to do what you need them to. And everybody has different things, everybody values different things. So you can't just sit there and, I don't know, try to force things down people's throats, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But okay, so you have all three businesses set up, right? You can see them over here. So I have to bring my hands back so you can see. So you have shop one, shop two, and shop three. Each one is paying their taxes, they're paying their expenses, and they're paying off their profit to the acquisition or the holding company that you set up for yourself. So you own the holding company, right? And then you own a part equity or part ownership of the individual shops, and you just take part of the profit to your acquisition and holding company. Now, the good thing about setting up this company right here, this acquisition party, oh my goodness. So setting up Frank's Detailing LLC, the acquisition holder, is that whenever this thing finally pays out to you, and we start talking again about your personal finances, the money that has filtered through pays no taxes. So yeah, whenever you're getting paid out of this holding company, that money that's coming directly into your pocket, it's tax free. You don't have to pay any additional taxes on it. There's nothing else that needs to get done. You just collect it and you're done. Because like I said, that company is not doing anything and you just own it, right? So you just get paid out for holding things like that. You can't get charged taxes. And uh, and then again, we go back to what we were doing earlier, which is, breaking down your personal finances to everything that you have to do, which we ended up on what, five of them? What am I doing here? Savings or your taxes. Oh, which I guess you eliminated the taxes out of this one. Said that money's tax free, you don't have to pay those. So even though you might want to eliminate that, I'm gonna show you something that a lot of these rich folk might do since they have that extra money, is they're gonna put money aside for investments. This is any extra thing that they might be able to jump into. And you got to realize for these people, this might not be the ultimate chaser. You know what I mean? They might have multiple companies that have franchises. Like maybe say this person doesn't just own Franks, they also own freaking XLC Landscaping. And XLC Landscaping has four or five different things. Then in this case, you would set up a separate intermediary right? Which would make this one and this one go into it. And then this would be Personal Finance Magic LLC or something. And this is just, like I said, a different holding company that owns these separate entities that own these smaller companies, right? And then there's you at the very end. So this will drag you all the way over here into your personal account, or maybe personal accounts, as in multiple, depending on how extreme you want to go with the entire setup. But yeah, I mean that's the basic breakdown. I think you guys probably get it by this point. I didn't want me to add on all this gibberish and just go all the way back and finish it off, but you're all confused about what's going on. So yeah, you have all this, you have your money for your investments, you have your fund budget, and then of course, like I said before, this is your life insurance, which of course you don't want to put all the money that you have left over into your life insurance. You want to make sure that you get a policy that's acceptable for you. I think personally, what I'm going to be doing is going to be going for about $500 a month. I think it's like a $3,000 down or a $4,000 startup, and then it's a $500 monthly. And within like 3 or 4 years, I should have what I don't know. I believe I should have invested about $30,000 in there, but I should have about 100 to 120,000 available for me to actually borrow from and borrow against, because obviously you can't access that policy until you're ready to just end it or you pass away. So the only way to do access those funds is just take a little zero interest loan against them. And of course, you always want to make sure that that loan makes you money, not just costs you money, because then it's just a liability, not an asset. You want to create assets, not pick up liabilities whenever you take loans of that nature. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and just pause this and end the recording, and then I'm gonna take the time to go and upload it on YouTube and start figuring out all of my marketing. Just make sure that I put everything out there, make sure that we really get through what we needed to. Let's see. Yeah, I want to be able to say bye without the. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to freaking full screen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to figure it out. But yeah, I hope you guys were able to get something out of this. I hope that this was helpful for somebody. Just being able to look at everything. I'm just gonna scroll through it real quick so you guys can see how the different setups work. This was make sure I type it in here because you guys are taking screenshots. Life insurance compound. So I guess that's something that I forgot to add to. I mean, I did business pre-calculus and business calculus in high school. It's funny that I say in high school because it was during my high school years, but I was in a college setting. I did my 2 years, my two associates. So I did my first 2 years of college while I was doing my 4 years of high school, if that makes any sense. I took my first college class, I think the second semester of my freshman year, or it might have been the first semester of my sophomore year. But yeah, it was one of those two things. But it was just a physical wellness class. It was a pretty, straight to the point, down to earth course, and then we just kind of scaled up from there. And everything else, I kind of had no interest in. I enjoyed art. I enjoyed music. Those were things that I was kind of passionate about. Photography was definitely a lot of fun. But as far as the main curriculum, the main things that I really enjoyed were speech writing, which was taken during my sophomore year, and then my math classes, which I was always adept at math. Nobody really understood that until way, way later. That's a whole other story. The thing is, though, I ended up taking the college courses for business pre-cal and business calculus. And the funny thing is business calculus. I didn't even study half of the material. like it was an online course and it was weighted like 75% of the fourth of the course was like the final exam, and then the other 25% was everything else. So I didn't do any of the work, and then I didn't even pay attention to the book. I didn't read the book, and then whenever it was time to do the final exam, I uh I basically just took the review that the professor posted and I just crammed it into a study session for like I don't know, maybe a week and a half, and I just went through and learned all the topics. And then that night before, I just kind of went and I figured out the patterns that a lot of the equations followed. And I was like, okay, I think I can go in there and get at least a B. So I went in there and I think I got two questions wrong. So I got an A on the exam. I ended up passing the class with a 73 or something like that because I had no other work done. And that exam was worth 75% of the final grade. So that's literally how I passed that class and how I got my credit for it. And then outside of that, I took business algebra. I took the business classes. Did I take any business classes? I think I was supposed to, but I ended up graduating early because I had enough credits, and I didn't realize it until we had started that semester. And whenever they told me I was like, I can graduate early, they were like, yeah, I mean, if you want to. It's like, shit, yeah. And then I didn't know what the hell to do, so I was detailing for a little bit, and then yeah, I mean, I guess that's my story, or part of it at least. And there's so much that happened. Um, I hope you guys have a good day.